Cool. Hi, everyone. So this morning, I went through most of the patches that the media current guys um, have been sending, and I know it took me too long, but I think that we are really close to tagging a stable with all that. The only thing is that we broke BC in dev in a very subtle way. Like we had a service that had a dependency on another service that was not used at all, and that got removed. And I guess in some way it was a good call to remove it because we're not using it at all. But if someone else is replacing the service with the new code, their replaced service will be broken. So I'm gonna fix that. Should be easy. And then I'm gonna tag JSON API 1.1. So woohoo! And thanks for all the help. So there's that. What else? I just tagged another release candidate for simple auth, and yeah, some not major features or bugs fixed there, mostly warnings and UI improvements. So things will be a little bit nicer, and less warnings will be spamming your console. And yeah, but nothing like there's no risk in updating that one. It's supposed to be like super easy. REST core, not sure what's the what happened during this week. Maybe Daniel, you know something about it?
Not really. I can have a look in the meantime while we talk about something else, and then maybe I can report back.
It's okay. I'd rather you to be like present and participating in the conversation. We can probably have an update next week. That would be okay, I think, unless someone has like a lot of concerns about REST core. I guess not. All right. So I see here that many of the faces here are involved with Contenta. So are you okay if we talk about Contenta stuff, specific stuff, unless you have other stuff that is more generic? Gonna wait for someone to say yes.
Go for it.
Yes.
Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Cool. So a lot happened. Like since last time that I spoke about this, like I don't know how much stuff happened, but Vue.js is a thing, and it's very far along. Angular is looking really great. I haven't had the chance to look at React, and it's just because I haven't installed any of the consumers, and I'm sorry. So, but I know that all the architecture there is pretty advanced, and we have the chatbot that Daniel has been working on, the Elm consumer that got also some traction. Chris Hamper from Acquia, he is starting an Elm application. So that's another consumer. Like the Ionic consumer also happened since we last spoke. So there's a lot. And I just want to make sure that, I mean, you're already doing it. Like I've seen the conversations, but I want to make sure that you can all leverage the work that other people are doing. Like I know that that Sally, you may be the one that is the farthest along with making queries and dealing with that stuff. So maybe when you are kind of in a position where you know how to make this query or how to compose this page or where things come from, just talk among yourselves, like talk to each other.
Yeah, like maybe a wiki page on the GitHub with
like a link to all the wireframes and then all of the calls to JSON API.
Ah, yes.
That would be really good.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. So how do we coordinate that? Or should we just create an issue and...
Do we have? Where's the link to the latest wireframes? I can do that.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna ping you doing. Let me write that down. All right, that's fantastic. Also, Jan, please keep on the node packages that other teams can leverage, because I think that's pretty awesome. And you know, that's the collaboration that we want. So I know that you have been experimenting quite a lot with SAP requests. Do you wanna give an update, or maybe you prefer to give it written? I don't know. Nah, it seems like you're having audio issues. I think I may.
Oh, sorry, I could say I would actually love to talk about sub requests a bit.
Oh.
I don't necessarily have anything to contribute, but just I think we've run into quite a few things building consumers where we need to use it, and it's been things like we want to get multiple of lots of types of node for one page, or like URLs or anything like that, which I think sub requests can handle, but I haven't had a chance to try it myself. So I would, yeah, if anyone has experience with it so far, I'd love to hear how you got on.
So I think that the Vue.js consumer is the one that's been doing the most experimentation with it. And the idea is that one page for the application, there's one request to SAP requests, and then it does the main request or the main query that would be the recipe related one, but also the unrelated stuff like fetching tags or categories that are for visual blocks and stuff that's more related to layout than semantical to the page that you're looking at. But ideally, one page would be one request. And right before the call, Jan was reporting good performance, and that's great. That's the kind of ideas that we had. So since this kind of follows nicely the pattern of page and SAP requests query, and then maybe we could have, like, in the wiki, we could have a wireframe, the list of requests, like the recipe related requests, and also the blocks that are in that page, because sometimes we have blocks that are not related to anything, but just stuff in the site. And also the SAP request that aggregates all of those, something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what I suggested earlier.
Right, yeah. The only thing that I'm adding in there is to also add an extra section to add the SAP request.
Yeah, no, sorry, that was what I was suggesting earlier, because hence needing the wireframes so I can get all the bits out. And sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Probably wasn't listening well. So that's that's great. I think that it may help with performance, but there's caching, and sometimes you want to leverage cache hits instead of getting a huge cache hit. You want to have smaller and whatever. So we'll see. I think it's going to be good. So.
Oh, one thing though. Sorry, if we're using HTTP2 on a lot of these things, is sub requests actually a gain? Has anyone tested that?
Yeah, you mean like request multiplexing would make this technology redundant or obsolete?
I think so, but I haven't tested it myself.
Yeah.
And then it would make that caching problem a bit easier.
HTTP2 has other advantages like header compression and blah blah blah. But I would say so. Like in general, especially if you are in London, it would be gain and just not worry about it. But you shouldn't even worry about JSON API. You could use pure REST and have it be great. What I've heard is that HTTP2 is not going to help a lot if it's more than the dozen requests or so, or if your connectivity is not great. Like if you are losing packets in the transmission, you are like in a remote area, like in an island, for instance, then it may not be superb. But yeah, that's another thing that, yeah, haven't tried though. So.
One slightly unrelated question. I was trying to write like a sub request helper in Elm, and I realized, oh yeah, that would be a nice package. So I'm wondering whether it would be like useful to like put packages under the contenter namespace, like a sub request thing. So just so people maybe are able to easier find them. I'm not sure what other things.
It may be a good idea. Not totally required, I guess. But for findability, yeah, I guess that having it all under the same profile and like you can scroll for all the repos. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I will leave it to the person that's implementing the actual package. But if you want to have it under the Contenta umbrella and you don't have permissions to create the repo, just let me know. I will create as many repos as you want. So I guess that should be it. Does that seem like a good solution, Daniel?
Totally. Yeah,
okay. So everyone, please create helper packages across different consumers, or keep doing that. And if you want to put them under Contenta, that's fine. I will create the repo. If you don't, that's fine too. So, does anyone have tech-related stuff that they want to share? Sorry, does anyone not have tech-related stuff that they want to share? All right, so I think that we are in freeze mode. So I want to share something else. That is not tech-related, so that's why I wanted to give a window for everyone to speak. I'm going to come back to you later. I presented about Contenta this weekend. I think the presentation went well. The conference was not very big, and it was nice. People had feedback and questions, and I think that's gonna help clarifying what everyone here knows that Contenta is, but not really well communicated to people outside that haven't had the chance to spend time playing with the distro. So I will try. Yes, it was recorded. It's volunteer effort, so it may take a time to process the video. They told me that they will try to get to mine first because I asked, and that guy, can I go first? But yeah, they also offered to give me the source, but I wouldn't know what to do with the source anyways. Like I would just dump it into YouTube and probably look awful. I don't know. But yeah, so Yeah, it went well. The presentation needs to work on clarifying goals. I think that the blog post helped a lot. Like it reached 1,600 people, like the medium blog post, which I don't know how happened. That never happened before with any blog post I wrote. But I guess that Dries tweeting it helped a lot. And also kind of, I guess that helped calming the waters with the questions of what is reservoir, what is contenta, which is also what I tried to address during the presentation. Thanks to, as Sally's pointing out, thanks to everyone that gave this visibility in their company blogs. I know Midicaren did. I know that Chapter 3, Imbra, and Lullabot did. And maybe some others that I wasn't able to track down. So thank you everyone for that. Yeah, the slides that I presented, I made them in such a way that one, they can be used by anyone at home without having to suffer me talking through them. So you can just go download the slides, read them, and they will have sense. They will make sense. And two, I made them in a way that I hope that anyone can just take those slides and present at their local events. So if you want to do that, just take the slides. They are open for you to reuse. And
are the slides in GitHub? Make a pull request against them, maybe.
Put them in GitHub. Yeah, that would be great if I had to use anything pull requestable, but it's not the case. Yeah, I should have planned for that. That's a great idea. Damn it. But I will next time, I guess.
Well, we could maybe try to redesign it. Like, I mean, the difficult part was probably the content itself, right?
That is true. I guess that anyone can take the slides, copy and paste the content and the spirit of the presentation, and put it in a Reveal.js way so people can fork it and add their face in there because they are presenting it. So they should be able to say, "Hey, this is me." Yeah, that's a good idea. What else? I don't think that I have anything else to share. Does anyone have anything else to share? Anything blocking you? Oh, no, we cannot hear you. Sorry, we're not just ignoring you. Damn it. If you type, I can. Oh, Daniel's wearing a suit. That's why there's no camera. Yes, if we cannot hear you, just type it, and I will try to read the question. I hope it's a nice suit.
I have a question in the meantime. So I was working on a simple issue for Schemata module, which provides example content for each field for everything. But it is kind of slow. Like if you want to generate example content for every field on any entity type, you need to create an instance of an entity per field, per bundle, per entity. So I was wondering, is something like that, should that be optional? Like, I don't know, like
Can you say that again?
So I was working on providing examples for our API docs, which would be nice. That would have to live in Schemata module probably, given that that's the place where we actually collect this kind of information. And it turns out it's like not cheap to generate example stuff for a lot of fields and entity types and all the things. So I'm wondering should something like that be optional? I don't know.
Just a question.
I think so.
Really fast. When you say cheap, to what exactly do you refer? Performance-wise?
Oh yeah, it costs quite a lot of performance to generate because you need to generate, create an instance of an entity per field, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because you need to do it on the per field definition normalizer level. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a great question. I kind of like the idea of having some sort of module. I already have a name for that module, but I don't know the implementation. I'm not gonna say. That kind of lets you per resource select in your content, like go and check one or two, for instance, nodes or entities that are going to be like the representatives for that resource, and they are going to be used as an example. So instead of having examples per field, like they are disconnected, you have a real example in the OpenAPI docs. Would that solve it for you, Daniel?
I guess. I think actually though that VDoc at least merges examples together. So if you have examples on field level, it actually merges them together onto the resource level. Right.
Yeah. My thing being that if we provide it that way, it would also automatically work for the JSON API extras.
What I really like is that this provides real-world example content.
That's
rather than what would probably the case be like some weird lorem ipsum stuff. Yeah. That's a good point, Matteo.
Yeah. All right. Had it in my backlog. Now has to be in my to-do. Yeah. That's a good idea, Daniel. To have the docs, like to improve on the docs land. So there is this question. Content that makes your content happy is a great punchline, but doesn't explain anything. And I agree. Big +1 to finding a better tagline and something that is easy to remember and that helps resonating. Can someone open a GitHub issue and I'm sure we will make it epic, and it's gonna have a lot of suggestions and debate around words and stuff. I'm just, that was the thing that came to my mind. It felt funny. It is maybe not very explanatory. So that was my bad. I kind of chose that one. So who wants to take on the action item to create an issue?
I'm happy to create an issue. Which repo should it go into? The GitHub.io one, maybe? Or the site?
That's a good question. I would put it under content underscore JSON API, which is the repo one, which is probably the main repo. It's the only one that's pinned. Yeah, I said action item. Sorry. It's only because Daniel has a suit and feels very business-like.
I'm sorry, that was on the call.
So that's great. Thank you, Matt. Yeah. Anything else? Anything that feels like? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Carlos, you have a thing.
Yeah. So Pedro and me, we got together and we started an effort to put Contenta on Docker. So we started that effort, and we're gonna, it's still a work in progress. So there's still bugs and everything. We're working on that. Also, I am working on the issue number 91, that is related to have automatic build artifacts when we merge something to have releases. And I'm working on that. Pick it up last week. Couldn't work on it during the weekend. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm gonna continue working today. I'm gonna hope to see if I can create a PR between today and tomorrow.
All right. Thank you for all the work, and I think it's great. I think I saw Nginx in there. If so, I may plan to leverage the fact that Nginx is one of the few servers that accept streaming requests. So I don't know how that is gonna benefit the project, but I think it's fun to work on that. So
yeah, no, but in the future, and what we want is that we want to have multiple services, and you can plug and play whatever you want, and you can have in the end a stack. If you want to patch your Nginx, you choose, and a Docker should do the automatic for you of putting them together and making sure that it works.
That sounds super great. So yeah, awesome. And also thanks, Pedro. I know that this is an awful time for you, your time zone. So
he deserves most of the credit. He did it more. He started that, the effort. I just joined in on the ship. So yeah, thanks, Pedro. Awesome work. And he's
well, actually, thank you, everyone. It's the top of the hour. Does anyone have anything else? Well, not the top of the hour. It's like the limit that we have for the meeting. Anyway. Awesome. I really hope that next week I can do this from my laptop, because I broke it.
Oh.
Laptops and seawater, they don't work really well together. So don't do it. And see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.